Did you know there's a trick farmers use to grow mountains of sweet, juicy strawberries? Most of us suffer from problems like birds, slugs and the rest. Well, I've trialled a new method and filmed every stage to overcome these issues and get perfect strawberries. Growing vertically makes it possible to grow 2, 3, 4, even more times as many strawberries in the same area. And it raises plants off the ground, making finding and picking the fruits so much easier. Like here, where I am growing 5 tiers of everyone's favourite fruit in the same footprint as just one container. Some vertical solutions are really rather extraordinary, towering tall and piling up the pickings to head height or beyond. Then there are the simpler but still very productive alternatives. Strawberry pots are really pretty, but the pockets can dry out really fast, so you need to be disciplined about your watering. Then there are deep troughs, window guttering, window boxes and so on, which open up even more possibilities for strawberry growing. Now, before we get started planting up that truly fantastic strawberry tower I have been trialling, let me show you a super easy, super accessible strawberry cascade that anyone can make at home. And it uses 3 pots of progressively smaller size. And to fill it, I'm going to use a potting mix that's an all-purpose potting mix that's been split 50-50 with a soil-based potting mix. So to start, I'm just going to half fill the largest container with our potting mix. There we go. And now for our second pot. And just so we get everything nice and central, I'm going to stick in this bamboo cane just while we set things up, and then slide the pot down like that through its central drainage point. And that will mean just keep it kind of neat while we're filling it. And let's half fill this one. And then our final pot. Slide it on. There we are. And I'm going to fill this one mostly to the top. And now planting time. I'm going to plant 3 in the bottom tier, 2 in the middle tier and 1 in the top. We've got a nice 3-tiered effect now. The great tip with strawberries is to keep them well watered while they are establishing and during dry weather. And that is especially important for container plants, because obviously they won't be able to get their roots down into the native soil down below. It doesn't look like much now, but these plants will soon bulk out, and by summer they'll be cropping and should create a really beautiful visual effect. Now you could take the same concept and use, for example, colourful buckets, anything that graduates in size and where you can make drainage holes in the bottom. And now for that second project I promised you earlier, that fabulous strawberry tower. Let's go back in time to see how I got it started. So then, as you've already seen, today we're going to set up a vertical tiered planter, and this one is by Greenstalk. It's super simple to set up and includes an integral watering system. So you fill your water at the top here and it drains through into each of these tiers. This will go onto my patio here and will turn it into a berry producing powerhouse. So let's start from the ground and work our way up. Now each of these tiers comes with 6 of these planting pockets. That will give us a total of 30 plants across all 5 tiers, so 1 plant in each pocket. That means potentially hundreds of fruits. So to fill each tier, I'm using a standard all-purpose potting mix. Now it does need to be good quality and nice and fresh, so get some good stuff in and we're going to fill it right to the top of the tier. Strawberries like a light, fluffy soil, at least in this situation, so this kind of all-purpose mix here is just perfect for it. Strawberries like it moist but well drained, so garden soil wouldn't be suitable for containers like this, though it might work for a standard single pot. I'm also adding a heaped teaspoon, or rather tablespoon, of slow release organic general purpose fertiliser into each tier. This is bloodfish and bone meal, and with it in I can then just sort of lightly frisk it in a bit. The strawberries will get their roots into this and it will help the plants establish with vim and vigour. Nice one. So there's all of our tiers filled and ready to plant up. Today I'm going to plant these cold stored runners. Now these are literally strawberry roots that are kept in the chiller in a kind of state of suspended animation, ready to plant later on in the season. You could plant any strawberries in any pots available throughout the growing season. These plants came through the post, bare rooted, ready to plant. Now they always look really rather shocking at this point. They've not got many leaves, they're all crisped up. So I potted them on and grew them on, and this was just 10 days ago, and now look at them. They have really put on such a lot of new growth. They very much bounce back and are ready to kind of go into these tiers here. Now they won't mind being transplanted again so soon and will really relish the extra space. I've chosen 3 different varieties here to spread out my harvests a bit, and so I'm not putting all of my eggs, or rather strawberries, into one basket, or rather tower, you know what I mean. Now it also means that I'm kind of spreading my bets a little bit, so if one plant gets a bit slower or gets clobbered by disease or something, I'm definitely going to have something to pick. You might choose to plant entirely different types of strawberries into each tier, and for more on all that, please do check out our full strawberry growing masterclass, which I'll link to in the description as well. Seeing as there are 6 planting pockets and I've got 3 different varieties, I'm going to plant 2 of each variety into each tier. So to plant, just make a suitable sized hole, either scoop it out or wedge it back and forth like that in the middle of the pocket. And we want to plant the crown, that's just where the leaves emerge from here, so it sits just above the soil surface. Now this has already been potted on, so it's at the right depth, but you want it about like that. Too shallow and it'll sort of rock about and potentially dry out, and too deep and it could kind of rot. And then just lightly firm it in like that. Let's get on with the next one. Planting strawberries. I feel like this is peak gardening, the epitome of growing your own fresh, delicious produce. And with strawberries, of course, you never have to wait long before those tempting berries are beginning to swell and ripen. Lovely. Beautiful. Doesn't this look the business? All I've got to do now is give them a good water to settle them in. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave them unstacked for now, just so I can keep a closer eye on them and give them a nice even watering like this from the top, so the roots get out and into that potting mix. Then once they put on just a bit more foliage in maybe 1 or 2 weeks, I will then stack them up. Well, it's a few weeks on and these guys have really started to fill out beautifully. I reckon it's time to stack them up. The tower sits on this base and look, it spins round, and that's really useful because it means I can rotate the tower from time to time so that all plants get equal amounts of sunshine and none are left in the shade for prolonged periods and left struggling. This kit comes with these rather handy watering discs, which should ensure a nice even distribution of water across all of the tiers, even once they're stacked up. I just need to pop one in the centre of each tier like this, making sure that the little holes here where the water seeps out align with each of the planting pockets. Okay, let's set them into place, and I just need to make sure that the feet here at the bottom perfectly align with the tier down below, then I can push it down into place. The tiers are designed so that the pockets alternate, which should ensure that each plant gets enough light. And then to finish, on goes this reservoir. Now the reservoir will sit at the top here, and I'll water into this, and then the water will disappear through the centre hole here and then into those watering discs that are at the top of each tier. And then the water from there will seep out through those little holes to keep the pockets nice and consistently moist. This will save me so much time watering and should give a more even result with less wasted water. Fab, now let's add the water, and I'm going to fill it right up until I see water coming out right at the base of this tower. It's got to go through and fill all the tiers down below, so keep on applying, and then once you see it dripping out, you know that you're good and that all of the pockets have got enough water. Now if you have just planted these and the plant is still quite young, you may need to go ahead and water the individual planting pockets as well, just until the plants get a bit more established and have a slightly bigger root system. And here we are, 1 week on, and it's already filling out even more. So all I need to do now is just make sure that the potting mix is consistently moist by just topping up the reservoir every now and then and making sure all the planting pockets get a nice even amount of water, which they should. Now strawberries like a minimum of 6 hours of direct sunshine a day. So the great thing about this tower is, of course, I can rotate it maybe a quarter turn every day to ensure that all sides get an even amount of sunshine, and that should really help everything ripen nice and evenly. If you find birds pecking at your fruit, then simply throw over some netting to keep them off. I've planted strawberries with a really good sized root system and they've fleshed out really quickly. They're good sturdy plants, so I'm going to let these flower and fruit straight away. But if your plants are actually quite small and a bit scrawny, then I would consider pinching off the first flowers just to help them bulk out a bit so they concentrate all their energy into forming more of a root system. It'll pay off later on in even more flowers and fruits. In just a few weeks, as you've already seen, these plants will fully leaf out, flower, and then those delicious strawberries won't be far behind. And the best part, no bending, no weeding, no sprawling mess, no slugs, just a compact, beautiful tower of strawberries right outside your door. If you'd like more on growing strawberries from scratch, check out this video next. Or if you'd like to propagate your own plants, go here. In the meantime, I'm off to do something totally delicious with these guys. Yum. I'll catch you next time.